Yeah, typically for Selenium automation, what we do is we first identify the element in the browser inspector. So if we take an example, if this is the Facebook page and we want to enter some email ID here, then what we do is we right click in the browser, we say inspect element, and what it does is it opens the HTML code for the element here in the inspector window, and from here we take typically the ID or name or class. So anything like that we take, and then we use that in our Selenium code. So here if we see, we identify the element. Most frequently we do ID or name, and typically if ID or name is not defined, then we have to form an XPath, and that is where this video will help us. Like if we want to get a locator, proper locator for the element, how do we do that with the help of browser tools, where browser inspector is not helping us at all. So in browser inspector, if I see here, there is copy, inner HTML, outer HTML, and CSS selector. But typically, like, we will take this ID, and what we will do is we'll write like this: Firefox driver is equal to new Firefox driver. The ID that we have found of the element, that typically we'll keep here. So we'll say Firefox driver object dot find element. We are looking for an element whose ID is email. So this is the syntax. Then it gives us the web element back, and once we got a web element back, then we can do whatever we want to do with the web element. Now in this video we are going to talk about a tool in the browser that makes it very easy for us to get this particular locator, even if the ID or name is not given. So we are going to install an add-on, and this is a Firefox add-on to make location easy. So we go to add-on manager, and here what we will do is we'll go to extensions, and we will search for an extension called Firebug. So this is the extension we are looking for, and we find Firebug as the first result. Let's go and say install, and once we install it in browser, when we right click an element, we will see more options shown to us. Now if I go back to the same page, if I right click, now you see it also gives me an option, inspect element with Firebug. If I click this, okay, let's say if we click this, then what we are seeing at the bottom is the Firebug brings in its own inspector, so that is one benefit. Then if I click this inspector and take it anywhere, then proper element is highlighted there. And then, like right now, it's simple and equivalent to what browser inspector was, but this Firebug has one additional add-on in this, and that add-on also we install it. We again go to add-on. With Firebug we need Firepath. Now Firepath is the one which is responsible for giving us the XPath. So it says it's a Firebug extension, so it needs Firebug to be installed prior to this, and we can edit, inspect, and generate XPaths. So let's go and install. So now it says restart your Firefox, so we restart it. So Firefox will launch again, and now we will see what changes it has brought in for us. We right click. Now there is one more option that has come, inspect in Firepath, and this is what we will be using quite often. Now when we do that, you see it directly gives us the XPath here. Now if ID is there, well and good, it will create an XPath based on ID. If ID is not there, it will eventually give us XPath which is unique for the element. Second benefit is we can play around in this area. So I can say give me all div elements, and it highlights, if you see, it highlights all the div elements in the page. If I say give me all the input elements in the page, input, now we will see it highlights all the text boxes because they are the input elements, and these drop downs are not the input elements, but radio buttons are input elements. So this is what Firepath brings to us. Not only XPath, it also gives us CSS selector. So if I go in sorry, if I go and search for input, now using CSS selector we are getting all the input tags. So CSS and XPath are two separate things, and they have their own syntax, but ultimately they are to achieve the same purpose. So well, this was how to install Firebug and Firepath in our Mac, in our Firefox browser, and how to use it is this. So once we are done using it, we can always close this window. If we want it again, we'll right click, we'll say inspect in Firepath, and whatever path comes here, we can directly take that, cut it, and we can go back in our code, and we can simply say fd dot find element by dot xpath. and we can simply paste the XPath that browser has given us. Using that, we'll get the web element back and we can proceed further.